With the Giro d'Italia traditionally proving a happy hunting ground for up-and-coming sprinters, one rider to keep an eye on over the coming weeks is Dimension Data's Ryan Gibbons. Despite only being a neo-pro at the time, the 23-year-old South African underlined his potential at the 2017 Corsa Rosa, making his Grand Tour debut with 6 top 10 finishes.
To get the green light for the Giro was, it was absolutely unreal. They kind of mentioned it first week in April. They said, yeah, Ryan, maybe would you like to do Paris-Roubaix? And that was a week later, or not even a week later, it was I think 4 days later. And I thought, well, okay, and I ended up doing it. And then in the same breath, they were like, and then maybe we can look at the Giro. So I'll be honest, I was just thinking about Paris-Roubaix, and then I kind of only had 2 weeks really to think about Giro and prepare for that. So yeah, it was amazing and really fortunate to have got that opportunity. And I think because it was also so sudden, I didn't really have time to kind of let it get out of hand, you know, and not overthink it. I just had to do it, you know. I was in good condition and I just had a race.
Ryan Gibbons continues to impress, the young South African taking his best results of the race so far in 5th place.
You kind of realise they're human, you know, these people you look up to and aspire to, and even though some of them, like Kaveri and Ewan, are similar in age to me, they've just been racing professionally for 3-4 years more than me, or have been exposed to it for a lot longer. So like kind of racing with your idols and guys who 2 years ago you're watching them on TV, to now race with them is amazing, but to actually see that they are human and you know you can beat them. Maybe not beat them, you can kind of compete with them and hopefully beat them soon. So that's also, it's motivating, definitely motivating. Even now, still, I mean, I'm not really well known, but then all of a sudden, you know, everyone watches Grand Tours, it's publicised worldwide, and the Giro, so a lot of fans in South Africa, or fellow cyclists and even non-cyclists, but just people who I'd know, who knew who I was as a person rather than a rider, seeing me on TV and kind of following my progress. They were very supportive, and yeah, got a lot of support, which was really great.
Ryan Gibbons, gifted young rider from South Africa. This is the head of the race. They've got to work together to consolidate this advantage.
It still is my second year as a pro. I feel like I definitely proved that there is potential, but I haven't done anything spectacular just yet. And so this year I think I've put a pressure on myself, and the goal is definitely to get a win or 2. I know I'm capable of it, and I definitely would just like to kind of almost get the monkey off my back and do it. It's also a lot easier said than done. Everyone feels the same way about racing, and you know, so there's a lot of pressure, but I definitely would like to win and also be more consistent.
It's going to be Cavendish, is it? Cavendish on the line! Cavendish takes the win! And he screams his delight!
My first race as a stagiaire with the team was with Cav, and then my first race as a pro last year as a neo-pro was with Cav. So I got to do a lot of races with him, and not just him, you know, generally it's always Bernie as well, and a lot of time with Renshaw as well, which is like, you know, the trio, it's like, it's really, every sprinter knows them and their household names, and they really have got so much experience and have done so much together. So kind of to rub shoulders with them and get their knowledge and experience passed down is great.
Back at the Giro for a second straight year, Gibbons is hoping the experience gained at the race last season can help guide him to his first Grand Tour stage win.
I think a big thing that I learned from last year is that self-belief. Like I said, you know, just knowing that you can rub shoulders and knowing that you can race and be amongst them. Also knowing that I'm going to be there going as a sprinter, where last year kind of heading into the race I was never the main sprinter. I was always going in as a secondary role. We're now going in as a sprinter just naturally. I mean, maybe it comes with pressure, but I feel like that alone is a big deal, and hopefully I can rise up to it. Racing with Louis as well, as a fellow South African, I've raced him quite a bit and I know him fairly well. He's a great guy, and I definitely think that, you know, he's a prospect, and there's potential for him to get a podium spot. So, I mean, I think at the end of the day, if it comes between, you know, saving myself or, you know, trying to salvage a top 5 in a sprint stage, you're working for a top 3 on GC or top 5 on GC with Louis, yeah, definitely gonna graft there. And yeah, I think also it's quite nice is that our GC leader is a South African, a fellow South African, and he's kind of going for GC, and the climbs I'm going as a sprinter. So I think it's quite nice as a South African-based team to have your 2, I don't know, key riders in the race being South African. I think that's quite special and also just motivating.